Hello and welcome back to the Villa Filler podcast. I'm here, as always, with my good friend Dan Wiseman. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing good, mate. There's a lot of things to be excited about, to say the least, since we've last spoken. The kit has been released officially. You know, people can get their hands on that now. Plenty of transfer rumours again, which is why we're back with another Transfer Rumour Mill podcast. We're going to try and keep these ones short. It seems like you guys really enjoyed the last one. It's got over 2,000 views, which we've not done for a while. So we'd like to really thank you guys for that. And we reached 1,900 subscribers as well. So as me and Dan did say in the last podcast, before, you know, for when the season starts and stuff, we're going to try and set what we think is a realistic subscriber goal to reach by the end of the season. And if we reach that, we will be giving away a shirt to you guys. But more details on that will come in the future. Before we get into the transfer stuff, Dan, I would like to touch on a man whose shirt is behind me. I thought I'd decorate the backdrop today. James Chester has left the club. Just like to give a shout out to James Chester, man. You know, we wouldn't be where we are now without that man. 113 consecutive appearances, which is just colossal, really. And, you know, when you think about what this man has done for the club, putting his body on the line, being the only fit centre-half to play, he's a man that, you know, I hope Villa fans don't forget about too quickly for everything he's done for the club, Dan.
No, I love Chelsea, man. One of my favourite players I've ever seen play for the club. For me, Chelsea was a turning point when we signed him, because, you know, he really stopped the rut when you know, we went down and we had so many players that just didn't seem to care too much for the club, had the completely wrong attitude. You know, if you're looking specifically at centre backs, to go from the likes of Richards and Lescott to someone like Ches, you know, he brought the professionalism back to the club. You know, he was a true Rolls Royce centre half, and it's only now. I mean, obviously it was amazing at the time, but you only look back at it now and realise how ludicrous that partnership with John Terry was in the Championship. And yeah, no, he was an absolute gem, such a good player to watch, worth every penny. And yeah, you know, he really really put his career on the line to play through those injuries for us. And yeah, I was so happy that when we got promoted, he was able to go up there and lift the trophy alongside Jack, because, you know, it's been as much his journey as anyone else's at the club. And yeah, JT always shouts him out as well as one of the better centre halves that he saw at his time at Villa. Calls him a Rolls Royce too, which tells you everything to know from a centre back of that ilk. Yeah, I wish him all the best at Stoke, mate. I've got a mate who's a Stoke fan, and said that the performances were a little hit and miss, but that's as a result of playing for that injury. So, you know, I wish him all the best at that club, man. And yeah, hopefully he can get some good games out of the twilight days of his career.
Absolutely, I think Stoke's a good move for him. So, you know, all the best, Chesney, as we've said. Now we'll get into the transfers, Dan, because there's been a few. It's been pretty quiet in terms of, obviously, people who are signing yet. We've not had really any incomings, apart from the women's team, which I think we should give a shout out for. Amazing recruitment that has been going on there. I can't claim to be a women's football expert, but, you know, we're signing players from here, there and everywhere. And from what I'm reading from other Villa content, they've been good signings. So shout out to the ladies, because, you know, a signing's a signing. We've got to get excited about it. I like to see that the club are promoting it on the official social media as well. It's good to see that kind of synergy between the two teams. But we are here today to talk about the signings for the men's team, the rumours, and that. Obviously, this is the Transfer Rumour Mill show. And I think the one that has been on, you know, the tip of every Villa fan's tongue, Dan, is Milot Rashica from Werder Bremen, Kosovonian international. I think we may have touched on him in the last podcast. And he's one that hasn't really gone away since January, has he, Dan? It's been kind of here and there. And there's been negotiations with the likes of Leipzig, which have fallen apart. He's been linked with Monaco, even as close as Wolverhampton Wanderers. I mean, I think this is a really important deal, Dan, that Villa really need to get done.
Yeah, man, he's a must. He fits the bill perfectly in terms of what we're looking for. You know, he's a right-footed left winger, so he's one of those inverted wingers, which seems to be the norm nowadays. Just 24 years old, 8 goals, 7 assists in the Bundesliga, which is, you know, a Werder Bremen side that finished 16th in the league. You know, he was their Jack Grealish, so to speak. He was the shining light in that side. 3 goals and 1 assist, I think, in 4 games in the German Cup as well. Yeah, he absolutely lit it up last season, and yeah, big links with him. I think Werder Bremen actually dismissed a bid from Leipzig, and that's put them off. And if you go on transfer marks, we're the only club that are apparently interested in him. It's one that there was a Kosovan journalist that I forget his name that said, went as far as saying that a fee has been agreed, and that the deal is really moving between the two clubs. Yeah, he can play off the left. He can play as a second striker. He's played a few games up front for Werder Bremen this season. So yeah, man, like Milo is a player that if you're paying like 20 to 30 million pounds, then I think would be a good one to get done, mate.
I find it quite interesting as well because I've seen a bit on sort of fan forums from Werder Bremen fans saying that the club kind of expecting him to depart. And even I believe their CEO, when speaking about the potential of signing Chong from Manchester United on loan, has admitted that Chong and Rashica are different players, but kind of acknowledged the fact that he is still a replacement for Rashica. And obviously the bids have been rebuffed from Leipzig. I believe they only bid 15 million euros and then followed up with a secondary 20 million euros, which when you obviously convert that to pounds, it seemed a lot cheaper than what we're hearing over here in the UK, 35 million pounds. Apparently, we were hearing in January and things like that. So hopefully we're not overpaying, but it's a transfer that I definitely want to see over the line. I mean, if you've seen him play, like Dan and I, big fans of the Bundesliga. I can't claim to be an expert on Bremen, but I've seen him a few times, and I'm sure everyone has seen the humbling of Jerome Boateng doing the rounds on Twitter. So it's this genuine pace that we just need to get in the side. He's a live wire. So to any Villa fans who haven't seen him play, I think from me and Dan, absolutely, we want to get this guy over the line, which again I think would lead us nicely talking about pace. One that we heard last night, Dan, is a bit of a strange one actually. Obafembi from Southampton, the Republic of Ireland international, very pacey forward. I've got to be honest, I like what I've seen of him, to be honest, Dan. He's a dynamic striker. He's very quick, very elegant on the ball as well, likes to play on the shoulder, hasn't really got a lot of regular game time at Southampton. And for £10 million, it doesn't really seem like much of a gamble, to be honest.
No, this is again a deal that I like, mate. We're going to see what we've seen a few rumblings of a potential loan or opponent deal for Keenan Davis off the Preston. I don't really think Alex Samatta has too much of a future at the club, and again, just fits the profile of these young players with high resale values and big potentials. That Villa seems to be angling towards. And he scored some good goals for Southampton. He scored against some big sides as well. I seem to recall a goal against Spurs last season. Yeah. And yeah, he's exactly the kind of player that, again, just adds pace to that front line. Is going to add some hunger and some desire. And as you said, although he hasn't been the most consistent striker for Southampton, that's not to his own detriment. That's because Danny Ings has gone and put in ludicrous 19 goals in the league or something like that. So, you can't judge the lad for a lack of game time this season. But no, there's a little bit of Premier League now still. There's a point to prove. And yeah, if you're looking at again for about £10 million for a player that's under the age of 23, who has scored goals in the Premier League, and is one of those real live wires that we just seem to be lacking at the club, then again, something that I'm in favour for, and I think he'd do well.
It's an interesting one because I think half of the issue with Villa, you could argue, over the past 8 years is the obvious lack of genuine pace, only ever having really one potential outlet of just pure speed. I mean, even if you look at like Trezeguet, I know he clocked like the 4th highest sprint in the Premier League season against Liverpool during lockdown. But, you look at Trez, El Ghazi, it's not much genuine pace, really. You don't look at them and I'm sure defenders aren't terrified when they're running at them. But, I think having pace is, you're halfway there then. You're instantly going to be creating more chances when you've got quicker players because you can exploit the space better, you can get to the byline, and you're just naturally going to create more chances. So it seems like a no-brainer to me. £10 million is very cheap, albeit he hasn't played a lot of football. But again, he's a Republic of Ireland international. He's quick. He's I don't want to say proven in the Premier League, but played in the Premier League, and that surely counts for something. Especially when you look at other transfers, like, Ben Rama still isn't going away, but whilst, we're kind of hearing bits and bits about Said, it seems like the noise is getting louder and louder with Ollie Watkins down. And this is, again, someone who is just genuinely so exciting. We spoke about him on the last podcast, but we've got to do it again. We've got to speak about Ollie Watkins because, there's been a lot of talk, people pretending to be in the know, saying he's in the Belfry when really he's in, Mykonos with his missus. But this is a deal that, again, I'm just so excited for, and I hope Villa can get done.
Yeah, well, this is a deal, as you said, mate, that's been rumbling on, but we went into detail a lot about it on the last podcast. But I like that the players that we're signing are a very similar profile. They've got a lot of flexibility and a lot of versatility in terms of the positions that they can play, real swingman players, and I think that lends itself well to we can drop Jack, and we have that ability to drop Jack back into centre mid because Ollie can play off the left. Milot Rashica can play through the middle. Obafemi, I think, can play off the wing and as a 9 as well. So, it gives us that ability to chop and change with Jack as and when we please. It's interesting that, they're all very similar players. It seems to be where I wouldn't expect all 3 of these deals to go through, kind of, or 1, 2, sort of thing. But no, Ollie Watkins is someone that I've seen a lot of Villa players doubting, and I get the concerns, saying that, we need to distance ourselves from the Championship and be going after Premier League pedigree. But that doesn't have to be the way. I think it was it was either Cal or Don from the Holte broke down Leicester's recruitment and just how well Harvey Barnes made that step up just last season. We've seen countless players come up and just acclimatise to the Premier League and go on to do really well. And so Ollie's a player that I think is certainly people are going to take a little bit of convincing with, but his goal record improving season on season. I think it's like 26 goals, 8 assists last season in the Championship, which is absolutely fantastic. Jack teased us all, didn't he, with his secret agent with Tammy, and Marva's been doing the bits, posting that throwback picture with Rashica as well. So these players are doing my heart no good, mate. They're getting me way too excited.
Literally, I was about to mention the secret agent photo that we did all see on Jack's Instagram. See, I try not to. I see these things often posted on Twitter, and I'm sure everyone who's watching or potentially listening would have seen the screenshot of Rashica about to board a plane, and someone decided to troll us all and put BHX, obviously Birmingham International, over the photo and then post it on Twitter. So, I mean, I don't follow Milot Rashica on Instagram, I've got to admit, because, I like to follow Villa players and then, players that I'm just generally interested in, like, your Ronaldo's, Messi, Isco's, players like that. So I go and search on Rashica's Instagram page, and obviously he's not put BHX on the boomerang. He's gone to Austria to join Werder Bremen's pre-season camp. So I fell for that one. So when I saw the secret agent comment, I thought, this is like, there is no way Jack Grealish is doing this to us. Go and check on his profile. Obviously it's there. Now, it's something that definitely split opinion on the last podcast, Dan, and I don't think we spoke about Tammy too much, but a lot of people in the comments were. I think we said we wouldn't want to pay more than 40 million. I think we both said that. To be honest, I've slept on it a few times. I've thought about it, and I would absolutely pay £50 million to Tammy Abraham. Now, I'm not in charge of these deals. I'm not the one writing these checks. So, feel free to disagree, Villa fans, in the comments. But the more I think of it, the more I just really want Tammy. But again, we can't be greedy. We've only allegedly got this 100 million to spend. And I'm looking at the other players like Obafembi, Rashica, Watkins, Ben Rama. And, I don't want to do my boy Wesley dirty. I think Wesley's got a future. So if we're going to sign 3 strikers, what does that mean for Wes, Dan? I guess it's a nice problem to have, to think, which striker can we buy and which striker can we play that's, hopefully going to be insanely prolific. But I'm sat here and I'm a bit confused, to be honest, Dan.
Well, to be honest with you, mate, the one takeaway that I took from that comment with Jack is that he's going nowhere. You can, if he's posting things like that and joking about recruiting players to the Villa, that's not recruiting players to replace him. That's
Yeah.
that he wants to play with. So Jack ain't going nowhere, and I hope all the Man United fans can get pretty rolled up in the comments, because I'm telling you, boys, he won't be wearing red next season.
Unless we have a red third kit.
No, of course, that's we can allow it. But no, Tammy would be a great sign. It's one that I don't think will happen, unfortunately, as you said, just because it would take up just this huge proportion of our budget. And I think if you can go and sign, I think you could get Watkins, Rashica, and Obafemi for the price you could get at Tammy Abraham, or near as makes no difference.
But we've been down that route before, haven't we? Where we've not gone for the, let's say, proven. Just look at the relegation year. Now, I'm by no means saying, well, I mean, we could get relegated. We were 3 goals off being relegated this year, but I think there is an argument to be made for Tammy. But as you say, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I think it's one that maybe for the future, when we're in a position to go and buy those luxury players. I think the most you're going to see us spending on a player in this window is a 30 at a push. Just because, as you said, I think that 100 million benchmark is probably going to prove pretty accurate. And whilst that does sound a lot and is probably bigger than a lot of other Premier League clubs, we're not in a position where we can go and buy 2 or 3 kind of 30-40 million pound players. We have to keep it. And if we're looking at 4 or 5 between the region of 15 and 25 million pounds, then I think that's the way it's got to go, because there's real quality out there. And that's the only hesitation I have with paying these big fees for English players. Is I think if you look on the continent, there's really, really good value to be found. I mean, Rashica is English. His transfer fee is like 3-4 times the cost. And so, if you go into the continent, there are good players to be found, and I think we're appointing scouts and the likes of Langer that operate in Europe and have operated in Europe. Even Mackenzie, who we've just taken off Spurs, his big transfers at Leicester all came from the continent. Your Kantes, your Mahrez, and the like. So I think the Europe is going to be where you see the majority of our players coming from, and that's where I think the values to be had. And just the last one I think, mate, that we wanted to touch on was Ghoulam from Napoli. Speaking of value, and mate, we said that we wanted experience, we said that we wanted nous, and you definitely get that in him, don't you?
Yeah, he's been around for a while in the Serie A. I don't believe he's played that much this season due to having an ACL injury, which is something that should definitely be considered when you're making these transfers, But I look at Ghoulam and I think, well, is he better than Target? Probably. Would he provide good competition? Most definitely. Would we be able to get him for cheap? I'd say so. So again, when you say you've got to look, if we're making £25 million, £30 million signings, if you're going to want to try and get a few more, if you make 3 £30 million or £25 million signings, you've then got another 25 million. If 10 of that's going on Obafemi, let's say, anywhere from, let's say, 5 to 10 maybe on Ghoulam, you wouldn't want to spend a lot. He's 29, he's aging. And when you look at how much we paid for Matt Target, he's absolutely going to be the future of the club at left back. Regardless of what any Villa fan says or thinks, unless they somehow can get a return on investment there, from selling. Matt Target's at the club indefinitely. So, I don't think it would be a terrible idea adding Ghoulam. He's an Algerian international, could potentially help with Ben Rama. You never know. These things happen. You get Almo convinced Trez to come. It helps just having someone, who could speak the language, who's a friend. So, it could happen. I wouldn't be so quick to turn my nose up at that kind of deal, to be honest, mate. I think if anything, this past week of Champions League football has proven that we absolutely are in no position to mock these other European clubs and call their leagues farmers leagues, because we've got 2 French and 2 German teams in the Champions League semi-finals. So I definitely wouldn't be turning my nose up. Napoli are a very good team. As I say, he's been fairly consistent over the past few years playing for them. Not so much this season, but if it was cheap, or even alone, look at the likes of Pepe Reina I can't imagine Villa would want to pay much. But for Napoli, and these other Italian teams that don't have as much money, a year off the wage bill for Ghoulam is probably A-OK for them, I would suggest. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on it, Dan?
Yeah, no, it's a deal. I like, to be honest with you, mate. He's not exactly, he's 29 years old, and so it would be one of those more experienced players. But almost 200 appearances is for Napoli, playing in the Champions League and at the real four of Serie A. It's something that we're just not in a position to say no to at the moment,
Yeah.
and. No, I think we've seen, this is probably going to be the end of Taylor and Elmo, and that fullback competition is needed. And I think what we need to try and avoid doing is putting a clear distance between Target and, like we have at the moment with Target and Taylor, whereby absolutely nailed on that Target's going to be the one starting and Neil's going to be the backup. We need to avoid those situations in the squad, because I think you see players getting too comfortable and sort of assuming that, take Target as a perfect example, whereby he's got that price tag, he's worth the money, he knows that he's with a decent performance, he's going to be starting next week. So I think you need to sign players of similar ability, and if you've got someone like Ghoulam coming in that Target can learn a lot from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Serie A has a different league. They demand different things of their defenders out in there. It's the most defensive league. Italian national football tells you just how it's typically defensive, and so the fullbacks aren't as bombarding as they are here in England. And so I think it would help Target with his defensive nous. And yeah, as you say, mate, I think we saw Brighton make a similar signing in Joel Veltman. What a deal that is, by the way. I mean, I know
so cheap as well.
900k, man, and the guy's paid almost 200 times for Ajax. That's the kind of value I'm talking about. Yes, he's not. Mazraoui was the one that's been starting on that Champions League, and is probably the better. But for 900k, even if he comes in and gives you a couple of Premier League games and a few games in the Cup, when you're signing a player of that experience for that little fee, it's such a no-risk transfer, and I don't think we'd be able to get Ghoulam for that little money. But I think they provide similar values to a similar squad.
Absolutely. And before we round up the podcast, I think we should mention the bizarre transfer rumour that I think Villa fans have seen, in that Bournemouth want Scott Hogan. Now, I am a Scott Hogan fan. I'm in a minority. I think he's been very hard done by Steve Bruce and the club. The transfer fee and just everything in general. I do think Scott Hogan's a very good Championship striker. I genuinely have nothing against him, and apparently willing to use him in a deal which could bring Callum Wilson to Villa Park, which again, it's just insane value, experience. You're getting a heavy earner off the wages. It's a no-brainer, Dan, surely.
Yeah, man, I had to I was like, man, that's not real. I was like going on Villa Report, like, surely this is one of the fake Villa reports. Like, this isn't a real transfer. And I know it, like that. Yeah. That's a weird one. But then again, when we're only saying that because we're Villa fans, and we've probably been the only club that's seen the bad side of Scott Hogan. He went and did well at Blues. It's clear the Championship is his level. We need to get him off the wage bill. There's a few players come in like that that we need to shift. And I do think it makes sense for a club like Bournemouth to sign a striker like that. Because your Wilsons, you Josh Kings are going to be leaving. You imagine in this window, and no club in the Premier League is going to say no to Callum Wilson as part of a swap deal. The guy was an absolute bagsman. He's he got his England caps. Let's not forget. And so yeah, mate, it's an attractive deal, and it's one of those where we've sort of seemingly identified our own targets in that position. I don't think we were necessarily hunting for Callum Wilson, but if he's offered to you at a better value than some of the other ones, then Bournemouth aren't in a place to demand too high a fee, I don't think, for these players. I mean, I know they've just sold Ake for 40 million, but let's not forget who they sold him to. And so, I think you could get a good value on this deal. And if Scott Hogan's going to knock some of the value off that and make it an even cheaper prospect for a player that's worth very little to Villa, then yeah, again, mate, I think if there's a deal to be struck there, I think that's definitely something worth looking into.
Absolutely. And again, finally, before we do end the podcast, what we did on the last podcast is I think we picked 3 players that we think would fit the bill at Villa. We're not going to do that this time because I've put Dan on the spot. So Dan, before I go, just one player from you that we may not have been linked with, but you think absolutely fits the bill, could be good value, just fit into the philosophy or whatever. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, because it's nice to hear about all these players. I think that's the good thing about the transfer window. It's often a stressful time, especially for us when we're trying to create podcasts and videos, and we're almost anticipating players coming so as we can prepare for that. But if you could give us a player that Villa fans could discuss in the comments, that'd be great. And then obviously I'll follow up with mine.
Well, I saw some bizarre stories early in the week, Mike, and it actually got me thinking of this very scenario. It was an interesting one. It was that Valencia have apparently put their entire squad up for sale, bar Jose Gaya. I don't know why, just Gaya, but apparently everyone at Valencia is for sale apart from their left back. And I wasn't really. I was like, surely not. But then Ferran Torres left. They let Dani Parejo go for free.
I couldn't believe that. That's a weird transfer.
To Villarreal. Villarreal are a great side. They finished 5th. Unai Emery's in charge there. The times are really changing for the Yellow Submarine. And so Dani Parejo is one of the finer midfielders in La Liga. He's so two-footed, brilliantly technical, one of the better free kick takers in world football. And they've let him just go for free. Francis Coquelin is apparently going to be following him. And that was actually the player that I was going to put forward and say that Coquelin, if you're looking for one of those base holders of the midfield that can allow your McGinns, your Douglases, Jacks to go and be creative and really anchor that side, then I was going to look at him. And so my answer to your question, mate, is anyone that plays for Valencia.
Well, it's funny you say that, actually, because I was also going to mention a Valencia player. And I've been thinking about this, for the past week. When you look at deals like Thiago going to Liverpool, Matuidi going to Inter Miami, which is a big signing. And I know me and you have spoke about Inter Miami a lot, just sort of off the podcast, generally as an interest. And I was trying to think, is there a player that's kind of in their peak, their twilight years, that Villa could potentially sign from a European giant? But then I thought, obviously that's not going to fit the bill. So I thought, well, who could Villa go for? Again, trying to look for value. I didn't realise the whole Valencia squad were for sale until you just mentioned it. But I was thinking Maxi Gomez, a player who we were linked with last summer, Uruguayan striker, can kind of play as a 10 as well. I think just generally would be a good sign. And I think, again, if you're looking for a centre forward, and I'm not by any means trying to get Wes out of the equation, but I think they'd be a formidable strike partnership.
Yeah, Max is a beast. He was doing bits at Celta Vigo before he got that transfer. His agent actually confirmed that there was contact from Villa before he chose Valencia, which pained me, man. That was tough.
Yeah.
I love Maxi Gomez. He had a good season at Valencia, and he really tandems that. Valencia play a 4-4-2, and that's a pretty unusual formation for that league and stuff like that, and it's not really typically Valencia, but that's what they do, and they partner Rodrigo or Gamiero with Maxi Gomez, and he's your typical Holte striker, and he really does fit Villa's profile for that kind of striker. And Maxi Gomez would be a great player, mate. I don't think Valencia are terribly run. It's really, they're a really poorly run club. They've had so many problems with the ownership over the years. They've had some really low finishes, and are a club in the doldrums. And I promise you, I'm not making this up. You can they were reporting on it. Marca reported on it as well.
Wow.
Apparently their whole, apart from Jose Gaya, which is an interesting one, is up for sale. And so Maxi would be a great fit for us. And if you could put him up with Wes, man, 2 absolute battering runs up there, man. I'd like to see that.
just absolutely destroying Premier League defences. Defenders like Eric Garcia won't have an idea, will they? I think that's a good note to end the podcast on, Dan. We've talked about plenty of players again. So, you know, whilst we haven't signed anyone yet, there's still so much to look forward to. It's genuinely really exciting to see the kind of players that we're linked to. So in the comments below, if you guys would let us know your thoughts on the players we've been linked with and the players who me and Dan have suggested, or if you guys have a suggestion, we'd like to hear that in the comments below. You know, we really do appreciate the comments. We read all of them. We may not get the time to reply to all of them, but, you know, we do see every single one. So, yeah, that would be brilliant if you could do that. And obviously subscribe for more. We have been, the channel's been doing really nicely. We're kind of in a position now where because things change every day, you know, one day we could be linked with Rashica, tomorrow we could, you know, there's absolutely a no-go. So we're trying to keep these as frequent, but also make sure that the news that we're delivering you is still also relevant, because I think that is important. And again, any sort of, anything that we spoke about really on the podcast is stuff that has been reported on by tabloids, journalists, things like that, you know. So take what we say with a grain of salt, especially with the latter transfers that we did speak about from Valencia. That is all just personal opinion. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this podcast and you're listening, watching on YouTube, hit the like button, comment your thoughts below and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts or whatever, leave a review. That does really help from what I've heard. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully we've got a new kit with a new signing coming soon, guys. Up the Villa.
Chester's essential. The fulfilling this got potential. It's a main man, a hero. He's the main leader of the gang. Chester. 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 He's the main leader of the gang now.